Welcome everyone to the September 28th Board of Selectmen's budget meeting. Would everybody please stand and join me for Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. If it's okay with the board, I want to start off with the highway. So Butch doesn't have to hang around all night. So, everybody pull out their highway ones. I have just highlighted a couple questions on the highway one that maybe is one's the contract service. I know was the line striping was $3,720. Is that something that needs to be done? Line?
It should be done, Tom. Like I said, the state had been doing it
Right.
in Milton Mills for the longest time. And I asked them why they weren't doing it anymore, and they said they're not gonna do it because of budgeting.
Right.
And we did do the school area before, but we haven't had any money to do it. And there should be some lines, you know.
Are there lines that bad that need it this year?
There's no lines at all.
Oh.
There's no lines on Elm Street, there's no lines anywhere.
Okay, so how much is this going to cover? The $3,720.
5 miles there.
I believe so, yes.
5 miles.
5 miles?
You have to do a minimum.
Yeah.
You can't just pick one road and do one road.
Right. Yeah.
You have to have a minimum for them to come out and set the truck up to paint.
Okay.
We've been putting it off, we've talked about it for a
Oh,
long
I know.
time. We've been putting it off and putting it off.
I know. I'm just thinking about in light of what we're facing this year for everything that passed last year. That trying to see where we might save something. Operating supplies. Is there anything we can do there? I know the price per ton has gone up.
I left everything the same in that line that I need, except for the salt and the sand, and those were the two that went up. I've level funded,
Good.
did level fund.
I looked through your whole budget. That's the only two items I had questions on. I was just hoping that maybe we could.
And the sand and the salt, I can't control, it's uncontrollable. We pay what they say we're gonna pay. It's a state bid thing for salt. Everybody's paying.
The other line items to make up the difference.
Yep.
We need to take a look at cutting services or leave alone.
Yep.
One or the other. What do you think, Highway Director?
I think my phone's gonna ring off the hook if people can't
Oh,
drive.
There's no doubt about that.
And, I mean, I get the calls now.
Yeah.
So, and I think we do a fairly reasonable job. I think we do a pretty good job, you know, keeping our roads plowed and maintained.
No, we do a great job.
Um,
Milton does a great job
I
keeping the
did
roads
cut
clean.
back on how many times I go out. I let the snow build up 3 or 4 inches, and I don't go out when they call me right away because we got an inch or two and people are sliding. I try to hold back as much as I can. But I have to pre-treat. There's no,
Right.
unless you want a mess at the end of the storm, if I don't pre-treat, you're gonna have a mess,
Right.
okay? I'm gonna have to hit hills and intersections during the storm, which is basically what I do, or we have trouble in those areas. And then at the end of the storm is where the bulk of the material goes down. That's when we start using the sand, because we don't sand any dirt roads until after the storm is over, because it doesn't make sense. Just gonna plow it off.
Right. Now,
I don't know where to pick and choose
Yeah, I know.
where you don't do something and you do something.
Yes,
It's
John.
It's an excellent question, really, Tom, that you have, that we need to address. It's too bad more public people wouldn't participate in some of these meetings to understand really what it does cost to do
Right.
the services they're getting today. And they need to understand that if we're gonna be able to cut costs in our budget total, I don't care if it's just sand and salt or whatever we're gonna be talking about, I'm new on the budget committee, and I can see where it's heading. We need to talk about, to the public, somehow, get the word out, in order to cut costs. This is a good example out of many we're gonna be confronted with, we're gonna have to cut services. There's no way around it. I've done investigation, I know that's how it is.
No, I agree with you. I agree,
So
we're at that
somehow, if
point.
we get to the public, to let them know that we're in it to cut costs, all of us. Every single person sitting in this room wants to cut costs.
Yeah.
But we can't cut costs without cutting services.
That's right. Okay. What do you guys got any,
On the road striping, we're not, because DOT gave it up, we're not under any regulation or anything of RSA or anything to paint the stripe the road.
It's not something that absolutely positively has to be done. I mean, we've been putting off a few roads for a number of years now as it is. I mean, we did go out and buy a striper machine so we could do our own crosswalks.
Right.
Because we were paying
Yep.
a lot of money to have somebody come in to do that and do our parking areas. That saved money, but that machine's not for
no,
that.
you can't do a road with it. Yes,
As far as the.
name for the
Oh,
record.
Dennis Wang, as far as the sand, what accounts for those increases? I know, you said the salt is
What
mandated.
accounts for them?
Yeah, the increase, yeah.
The town has been getting sand by the yard in a couple of different places for the last few years at $350, $450 a yard, which places. And that will be one of the monies that would go in another place if I don't have enough to do, sand or salt or, I run this budget like I run my household. If something comes up and it's an emergency, I have to look and see where I got money to pay for that emergency, because we don't budget.
It's all
for
those mason jars out in your
Right,
barn.
right. But we don't budget for these things. We don't budget for a $20,000 transmission. We don't budget for, a tow from Massachusetts to Milton, New Hampshire. We don't go for that, budget for that stuff. So when those things happen, you've got to find the money to pay for those bills because they're there to be paid. So you move your money where you need to move your money to operate on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
It's the budget is a perfect world, just like your budget at home. If everything went the way you wanted to at home, you'd be rich because you're gonna spend just what you need to spend and put the rest of your money away.
On your
So
fuel,
now, I'm glad you deciphered basic cleaning.
What's that?
I'm glad you deciphered that basic cleaning. Now I know what it's used for.
Well,
basic
I do
cleaning.
clean basins. I've done it. I clean, I try to get 50. That
Yeah.
covers 50 a year. We got 75.
Yeah.
I don't get them all done, so I try to rotate and do, and I don't think we got them last year, but the year before we did. This last summer, this summer right here, we didn't get them. We got them the last summer.
what did you come in on your fuel budget last year?
Where did I come in?
Yeah, did you use the whole,
Oh, the current year that we're in right now?
yeah,
I'm not,
sorry.
I don't have that in front of me, but
Okay.
I'm not overspent.
okay. I mean, I looked at your budget, Pat, I mean, I know salt is up, I know the sand is up, I know you have to pre-treat, I'm with you on all that. I mean, I think your budget's pretty good. I don't know how much fuel you use this year. Fuel's going down a little bit, I don't know if we could save some there or not, but I don't wanna be cut short either, I mean, it's important.
I'm
So-
waiting for new fuel prices to,
Okay. On diesel fuel, year to date, it's 31,626 that we spent.
yeah, and there's 47, right?
Yeah,
That's diesel fuel, yeah, you're 47, you spent 31,626 year to date.
Right.
Vehicle fuel,
no, it's-
gas, you spent $4,438 year to date. That's 7,000.
You think you'll spend 15,000 from now to, well, do you think you'll spend 15 grand from now to?
Depends
I
on
mean,
what-
I understand that, yeah.
It's a crapshoot. I don't know what November, December brings me. If I don't plow, I mean, last year, we were sitting here in the same room saying, everybody needs to hold back. I think our truck repairs will be cheaper. I didn't lower that budget because I got a loader and an excavator sitting there that could,
Right,
Yeah.
you
okay.
know, I mean, you wanna take a chance, take a chance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
I
asking.
just don't, again, I level funded almost every single line in this budget. The
Mhm.
only increases I put in this budget was increase in the salt, the sand, and, I put the, FICA and Medicare, the, cost of living and the, 2% in there,
Yep.
and I put the striping in there. I mean, if you wanna take the striping out, take the striping out. It's not something I have to have, but everything else that's in that budget is pretty much what needs to be there from last year.
What,
Calculator.
no, that's why I got this one,
Oh,
so I can see it. What do you guys think about taking striping out?
Yep.
I don't know, what road is this on? The striping, I'm sorry.
it's 5
It's a
miles long.
combination of roads. It
Com-
would be around the school area, Elm Street area, Milton Mills area, in the villages, right in the villages. But it's not a big deal. It's not. I,
Is it a safety issue? Not having stripes? I mean,
Chief Kraus, what are your thoughts? Safety issue?
The white fog line is built specifically for that. That's why it's called a fog line. So when we get the fog that rolls in up on the mountain on Northeast Pond Road, on Elm Street, on those types of roads, when that fog comes in, if nobody has the fog line to look at, they better hope they can look at the side of the road or slow down. I mean, the yellow line on most of our roads, some of the roads are too narrow to put even a yellow line, I
Right.
think.
Right.
But I do think that the white fog line should be on most of these roads. And I don't know what line they're looking to paint.
That's what I was just gonna ask Pat next.
I was only gonna do yellow lines.
You want to do the fog line?
No, I was
What
just
roads were you gonna do?
I was gonna do Elm Street, Steeple Street,
You know, short of cutting services like we talked about, I don't see anything we can do here. Quite honestly, I really don't. I mean,
So the discussion, or the question would be, do we cut service?
do we cut services? And if so, where? Let me ask you, Pat, I hate grilling you like this, 'cause I know how you are with the budget.
No,
but
that's what,
anyways,
that's what I'm here for.
if we were to cut services and have unsalted roads, which roads would you think would be best?
Well, first of all, if I was gonna cut services,
Yep.
it wouldn't be on my plow. It would be on my sidewalk cleanup. That's where, that would be the first thing that I would probably cut in a winter operation, is not do the sidewalks, because I consume a lot of fuel and a lot of overtime and a lot of man hours
Okay.
in sidewalk cleanup.
yeah, but sidewalk cleanup's
I
important.
agree, oh yeah, there's a lot of time there.
The problem is that you're gonna get calls, and I'm gonna get calls from everybody downtown and the school. So, you know,
I wouldn't cut it on sidewalk services.
No.
No, that's too dangerous.
That's gonna be a safety issue.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. You're forcing
you're
people
worried
into-
about a
you're
safety
forcing
issue.
people into the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're worried about a safety issue, then the service you cut, in my book, is you cut the line painting. You don't cut sidewalks, you don't cut salt, because you start cutting salt on certain roads, and then we have a big issue on that road because we decided to cut salt, or the road just decides that year, that's the road that's gonna be our bad road for the year. I think that's a mistake.
John?
Recommendation, leave well alone for this year and start thinking about developing a group from the public to review and work with the highway department to see what makes the most sense and not solve them. I can come up with some ideas myself right now that I'm sure that Pat and a lot of people in town aren't even aware of, that people complain because there's too much salt on the roads. Mainly, it's usually near water
Mhm.
that the complaints are coming
Right.
from.
Right,
I think that it would be well worth a while, again, Lee well enough, start a small committee with somebody that's got, you know, some background on this, to take a look at, work with the highway department to see if there is, and some of the public people that are complaining, that I could throw out once we start a group together. I'd be willing to do that.
I think I've cut back some, I'm not out there plowing. Like, well, I mean, I get calls, I got 5 inches of snow on my road, you haven't been down here the whole storm. I wait a little bit now, so I'm not burning up the fuel and I'm not,
yeah, spend the man hours and all, yeah.
I mean, you still got man hours, because you gotta be there whether you're plowing it at that minute or not, but.
All right,
Cutting edges.
yep, cutting
It's all
edges,
cost
equipment.
money.
All right, if we were to, going back to the line striping, if we were to eliminate the line striping for this year, how much of a safety issue do you think that would be?
I don't think it's gonna be any more of a safety issue than the roads already are right now.
It's not, that's a new item. It's
Yeah.
not been an item in there from last year, that was the new thing that I put in. Because
Yeah.
I'd had conversation with the state, and they're not gonna do it, so I put it in to do it ourselves. And
Okay,
if that's what you decide to take out, I'm not gonna have a heartache over it, I mean, it's just something that I thought should be done, and if we can't afford to do it, we can't afford to do it.
okay,
And if it comes out, Mr. Chairman, then I just advise my officers that one of their priorities when they're on patrol is to make sure people are maintaining, keep to the right. If they aren't on roads that are not striped and they're not keeping to the right, it's a violation in the state of New Hampshire. So my officers just make that as a priority.
okay. Guys, what do you think? Anything
Savings
else?
right there, yeah, on that, I wanna go back to the basic cleaning, could you cut that in half and do only half of the bases, the
I'm not doing
sewers?
them all now, I'm only doing 2/3.
Okay, can you cut that in half?
Can I cut that in half? I'd rather not, but I mean, it's your call, I mean,
Well, I can tell you the problem I can see without basin cleaning is they start filling up, getting packed, then all you have water, you got road damage, you're gonna lose roads. You
Yeah,
get into
I'm
another
not
big-
saying cut it all out.
Yeah,
He says he's budgeting for 2/3.
We use sand. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know, I wouldn't touch the basin cleanings.
no, 'cause I've been through 3 of these, well, 2 of them anyways, where roads wash out, and a lot of it's
That's
do that.
exactly what'll happen.
Yeah, that's
Start
exactly what
cutting back
happened.
on
You get
that.
culverts, you get everything, they plug up, basins plug up, and then all of a sudden they flow the roads, take roads out.
You lose your road.
Well, they don't take care of culverts, it's basic cleaning, that's a
It's the same-
contracted service, right?
It's the same type of thing, though, basin cleaning, it's the same type of thing.
For culverts? Is it?
No, this doesn't cover culverts, basin
No.
cleaning, it's just the basins.
well, the culverts come out of the
Right.
basins.
But it's
But
part
the
of it.
sump fills up and then all the stuff starts flowing into the sump is supposed to be cleaned out to keep everything in the basin and not flow into your rivers and streams.
Okay.
How many times did you get towed last year?
I don't know the number, but we did quite a
Okay,
few.
never mind.
What I have budgeted there, Andy, is I have 4 trucks.
Yeah.
And I planned 2, I got budgeted 2 tows per truck. They go by lane miles, we just do by mile.
I mean, the only thing I can see that we can comfortably, at least for me anyways, remove this year is that striping.
But for the record, I'll look into cutting back on around the lake a little bit more and use more sand over there and see how it goes.
All right,
I don't think we should cut the salt line, but I mean, if I can cut back on it and we don't use, I mean, I got data that tells me what I'm using. I can tell you how many storms and how much it costs a storm and how much it costs an inch and, you know, I mean, we have all of them records. This is how I make this budget out.
No, don't get me wrong, Pat, you do a great job, you know, in the winter time for what you have,
Thank you.
so. So, I just cut the, I'm for cutting this to
The striping.
striping for this year.
Mike?
You have another question?
Yeah, John?
I would also take a look at, bat me around if you want, Highway Director, but there's roads that we do in this town that's voted by the public to plow, and there's only one house on it, we're plowing 2 miles down to clear them and taking care of the roads like we do any other road. We need to take a look at that too.
Yeah, those, I
I know it's up on
I know one particular you're talking about.
Yeah, it's on warrant articles several times, I know, but
Yeah.
we really need to address that. Because I know of 2 or 3 years in a straight row that one dwelling, nobody even lived in it.
Yep.
And, you know, it's costing us taxpayers' money.
That one was put on the ballot to
Correct,
have discontinued and it was voted against discontinuing.
correct.
Yep, I know which one you're talking about. So, but no, I agree, there's that one there, it's not only spending money, it's not an easy one to do. So, all right, I guess we're,
So you're taking the line striping out?
yeah, 3,720, they give you a new total of 634,420. That brings your increase down to 11,698. And again, most of that is attributed to the salt and sand.
Right.
One more question.
Yes, John? Mr.
We've talked a lot in public meetings, and everything, in the recent 3 to 4 to 5 months, experiencing problems with CDL drivers. What have we done about that?
We don't have any. Nobody's
Yeah, but I
applying.
mean the wages.
Yeah,
Are we gonna leave it alone, or what are we gonna do? I guess that goes to the highway director.
yeah, no, we haven't done nothing with it, quite frankly, John.
Well, I think
Yeah.
we need to talk about it.
Yeah,
Well, I did
I know you did a
I did the
survey.
research and I did the data and turned it in.
I think,
So, as we said here today, we still don't have a CDL driver because our wages are too low.
I'm
Yep.
not getting applications.
Well, we need to talk about that before the end of the year.
Dennis,
Dennis, with regards to the striping, you said you had the capability of doing the crosswalk still and
I do the
and
crosswalk.
stop lines and stuff
Yeah.
around school and whatnot?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we do have to address the wages. We've addressed the wages for fire, police, and all that, now we address public works. So it has to be done.
So it looks like we'll solve the problem before election.
I hope so,
Okay.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know how yet, but I hope so. Any other questions on highway before? Okay. We're gonna do government buildings next, but you're staying here for all three? You can, I mean, it's your call, I mean, I just didn't, if you are. Government buildings. You guys got anything you wanna?
So is the water going up 15%?
That's what I was told to put in.
I seen where he said it's going up 15%, which is a conversation we need to have with our water precinct, because that's something we don't have control over here.
No, I was just curious, because.
Well, I'm more than just curious, I'm a little ticked off it's going up so much.
I believe it was a $4,958 increase in that budget,
I got 5706.
57. Well, you have a government buildings contract service line of 28,000, right? 28 something?
No, I got contract service line 29,657.
Okay, because that was the new number, yeah.
The
Yeah,
29,657.
you asked that question the last meeting.
Yep.
And we hadn't had some of the numbers back from some of our contractors.
Right. Okay. What's Milton Mills mechanic?
Well, that was the boiler maintenance, but it's no longer called Milton Mills Mechanic, it's Joy's.
Okay. That's for the library?
No, that's for all the boilers.
Oh, okay.
Services all the.
Okay.
They service all of them in town.
Yep.
What exactly involved with cleaning buildings, line 10?
Contract
That
service.
is your, the cleaning lady that comes in and takes the trash out,
Lisa?
vacuums and sweeps and does, and they do the police station also. That covers both buildings. And it also covers 2 strip and waxes for each building a year.
Like they just did for the police station?
It's also two carpet cleanings a year at the PD.
Yeah.
This one's even tighter than the other one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I can touch that. Building maintenance, you probably burn through that like,
Depends on what happens that year, Tom.
yeah.
Some years we go through it and some years we have a little left. It depends on what happens.
Oh, my building hit you pretty hard this year, didn't it?
Yeah.
With the AC units and the boiler. Both were things that were not expected.
Yeah. Not that old though.
Apparently you get a clog in the AC line and it messes up your boiler too. So you have water spraying in your garage.
Well, that's not good.
What line was that cleaning service?
What's that?
What line was that?
Oh, it's line 10 on the contract services.
The contract services line item number 10,
Okay.
right here, on the backup.
Oh, okay.
I quite honestly, guys, I don't see anything.
Well, the only thing that raised, I mean, it was just, he hasn't asked for anything other than the water,
Yeah, the water's 15%.
the electricity, and the cost of living. I mean, he hasn't asked for anything else, so it stayed the same.
I pretty much did the same thing with this budget. I level funded everything I could level fund, and I only increased what numbers came in to increase in the contract service line.
Mm-hmm.
Are your elevator inspections in the contract service line?
Yep.
Yeah. Set 'em
Yeah, they
aside.
okay, number
Yep.
6, yeah. That's gonna cover Milton Mills too?
Yep. Plus I have a maintenance contract to maintain the new lift that's in that line also. It's line 13. That's for them to come in and service
Okay,
it
that's
once a
the
year.
one, that's the one I don't, how much was that one, Pax? I don't
I
have
have
that.
$500 on that.
Okay,
What's that for, Matt?
That's to come in and do the maintenance on the lift, you know, they check the pulleys and everything that's involved inside to make sure everything's still in good working order before the state comes in to inspect. They keep it up.
Was
Yeah.
that a line item in your highway?
What's
Did I
that?
see a line item in your highway budget for the lift? No?
Maybe the car lift, but the vehicle lift, but not this lift.
No.
Yeah, this is a personnel lift for the highway.
That's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. The state has to inspect that also.
Thoughts, guys? This is a tough one.
I don't know.
John?
One more question. My name is John Cowick. And this water increase of 15%, I'm trying to understand it and digest it.
Yeah.
When's the last time they had an increase in the town of Milton?
You'd have to ask the water precinct that, I don't
Oh,
know.
we don't know.
It's been a
All right,
while, I
so
know.
Other towns are also doing the same thing, I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah.
There must be a reason for other, we do know that electricity went up.
Mhm.
I guess in line with that, I need to ask the question, are we running our power plant for water with electricity or fuel? Can anybody answer that question?
When you say the power plant, what are you talking about?
Well, we must have something to run the pumps and stuff, either electricity or fuel.
Oh,
It's
the-
like-
Oh, okay, you mean the water pumps?
Yeah.
The-
Right.
It's electricity, I'm sure.
All right, so that's a part of the increase, right? I'm not supporting the water department, I'm
Oh, no, I
just
just-
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, well, I think we all are, I mean, because there was no explanation. It was just all of a sudden we're going at 15%.
Could we maybe set up somehow a joint meeting with the water department, figure it out together?
I'd like to, that'd be a good.
Sounds like a concern of me and everybody else, so.
Those are the next steps.
We just got this increase a week ago,
Yeah.
so.
Other towns
The
are
day we
increasing, I
presented our
see
budget.
too.
Yeah,
The
that's
day we
right.
presented our budget, I was called and told I needed to
That's the
add.
23rd, yeah, so,
Yes,
yeah, a week ago.
15% that day, and I had to throw it in. Actually, I don't even think this budget reflects it, to be honest with you. I think the line was $5,000 last year, it's still showing $5,000 this year.
Well, on the water, I got 5,750 on
Okay,
the new one, so,
Mine hasn't been changed.
yeah, you haven't got the latest and
Well,
greatest
hopefully
yet.
that'll go down too when we do the fields.
Yeah, that's one of the things, addressing the fields.
That and the hydrants, right?
What's that?
That and the hydrants. The hydrants is a big cost too.
Hydrants are expensive, yeah.
Right.
But this particular one is just for government buildings and grounds. So once
I'm
you
just,
start,
again, I wanna make sure you understood me. I'm talking total, but I am starting because it's starting to service
Right.
with the highway department.
right.
I'm sure it's gonna be an issue with the fire department too,
Oh, it is.
as well as all our town-owned buildings that's got water.
Well, all the town-owned buildings go through government buildings. We don't have any water in any of our budgets for town-owned
The only
buildings.
other department that has water is fire.
Correct,
They have their own water.
correct. Yep. I don't see anything, guys. Mike? Okay.
What's the,
What's
what's
that?
the mulch and the fertilizer you use for, where do you put those? Up at like the police station in front
What was
of
that?
the fertilizer and the mulch?
The fertilizers go to the ball fields. They spray the warning track, both fields. And the mulch, where are you at under supplies?
Yes,
Oh, no, fertilizer for Lockhart Field. We only have Arbor Pro come in for the big field. My guys fertilize Lockhart.
Is Lockhart Field being used?
yeah, but one
Are they still,
ballpark, right?
they're still being used?
Yeah. I guess used quite a bit.
It's a softball league, right?
Softball
Yeah.
and a little
Soccer?
like some soccer and
No, okay. I just didn't realize it was still being used.
kickball, I think, is
Yeah.
over there.
Wow, okay. I've never seen me
And
on
the
it,
mulch
why,
goes-
so.
Most of the mulch goes to the police station.
Okay. You wanna cut you guys short? Anything else you wanna discuss, or?
I'm good.
Government building, that's-
Mike is still digging, so I'm gonna,
I'm good,
So-
I'm good.
well, no, seriously, I don't wanna cut you short.
No, I know, I can't find anything.
I know, that's,
I'm scraping, I can't find anything.
All right, let's go to solid waste. And that is, that's a $3,384 increase. $3,384.
Really, it's just your cost of living and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like so,
Had a slight increase in contract services because of the leave disposal.
Right, for Barron Brothers, yeah.
Are they not open on Saturdays anymore?
He said he was gonna, probably after a certain day, he was gonna close. He was telling people that were going over there, that Saturday would close after,
Certain
when
time?
they get ready to go to their fall or winter hours.
well, it's only $200 though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the increases here are the COLA and the 2%, potential
6% rate increase for electric.
Yep, the rate, yeah.
But other than that, everything else is level funded. And again, I use, a lot of money out of the revolving account to run this department.
Right, I know you do. I know you do. I mean, if we had to absorb this disposal, we'd be close to 100 probably, on just the weight, just disposal, if we had to absorb all
We'd be
that.
over 100.
Yeah.
Will we
John?
be getting a discount within the next year on the solar panels for the streetlights? There's a talk
I-
somewhat about it.
We won't be getting a discount.
No,
We'll be getting
the way it works, we don't get a discount on our electric use, but we get a check, basically like a rebate check.
Okay, well, it's the same
Twice a
thing.
year,
to me,
it goes
yeah.
back in the general fund.
So you're gonna still budget the same amount?
You gotta budget the same
Yeah.
amount, but that money comes back, goes
I
into the
got you,
general fund,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, okay.
I guess we're all set with solid waste. Unless you guys, this one's even tighter than the first two.
Oh, good job, Pat.
Yeah, really, like I said, you guys, I've worked with you long enough to know the type of job you do, so
I appreciate it, thank
yeah,
you.
you do a good job. All right, huh?
What's up next? Oh, who?
Yeah, who's on next? Let me see, wanna do Michelle?
Here's where we can get save some money, right there.
Just took 11,000 out. I don't have my paperwork with me tonight. So I'm relying on what you have for a backup.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Wow, that should be your first mistake.
I couldn't print it out. At 4:30, I was struggling with my computer, so.
Well, I went through it and actually,
I'm bare bone.
okay, well, like I said, I went through it, and the only thing that I saw that was the 11,000 and change, whatever it was, that was for the King, and I think Dennis, you're the one that brought up last time, putting that as a warrant article, and which is a good
Does that
idea.
meet the criteria for a warrant article?
Yes. It doesn't meet the criteria for a capital improvement plan article, but it does for a separate warrant article.
Yeah.
Where it's a one-time purchase. So with that taken out,
I think I'm less than 2% increase.
I don't do percentages.
That's a naughty word.
It's just a little over $2,000.
Because percentages are all relevant. If you get 2% of $100,000 or 10% of $10, I mean, so it's all relevant. So I don't do percentages. So you have 2205, and that's due to COLA and 2%, possible 2% increase.
And then I budgeted for 4
It'll-
elections for
yep.
ballot voting.
Yep, I saw that. Now, you budgeted for 4, but did you ask the moderator to do 5?
Absolutely. If there's a special election, we don't have to code the ballot machines for that. That's a hand count.
Okay,
That's fine.
all right. Thoughts, guys?
I think she did a good job.
I mean, she stole our thunder by taking that $11,000 out before it got to us.
Right.
So the line 620 on supplies, 2014, there's nothing, and then 2015, there's 2,500. You pulled that from someplace else to put it in there?
We've never
Because-
budgeted for supplies until this, for 2015, the first time.
Because it was coming out of the TAs.
Always came out
Correct.
of the TA,
Yeah.
yep.
Audience says, good job.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Want to do police next? I know we're jumping around, but I'm just trying to accommodate some of these people. Or Betsy, do you want to be next? I'm just trying to accommodate some of these people that may want to not hang around all night.
You can do Betsy's.
Either way,
Hers is much smaller than my budget.
All right, we'll do
Yeah.
Betsy's, because I found like, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000, I can take out of that one.
well, I guess that means you won't be reading very much next
Are you trying to tell me I gotta give back my library card?
Or he will be doing a lot of reading, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to stay after.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, and this one, we,
Small budget.
yeah, no, very small budget.
Was a large increase on membership dues, huh?
Yeah, all of the trustees are now members of the trustee, New Hampshire Library Trustees Association. And usually, in past years, it had only been one or two. And I don't know why.
What do they get for the membership?
Well,
It's
there's
just
a
to get
lot
a,
of training involved in, making sure that they stay up to date with all of the RSAs that was sort of specific to libraries. And other than that, I'm not really sure.
okay, so,
So how much is one person's membership? Because you got, you got the 4 trustees plus yourself?
3 trustees.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And if it makes that big of it, I think I'm only $25. I don't have to be a member of the trustee association.
Contraire,
Although,
I
what I
think-
will say is that I went to the last training and conference,
yeah,
and I thought it was invaluable.
yeah.
I mean, just for the record, year-to-date spent and the membership dues is $310.
Yes.
So that's what
we're
she's
really
asking for.
talking about, I
Yeah.
think it's 25 for.
I mean, that's a $110 increase over what was budgeted last year. I mean, that's not a,
It's not a lot.
no. Not a lot of money, it's 110, I know it's
We're gonna
110.
start though, eh?
I know.
The other thing that I'm willing to suggest is that we could lower the software line. What do I have it down? Technology line. We could put $1 in there, just so I can track what I'm not anticipating spending anything next year, and I didn't this current year.
Okay, so you take $149 out of that, you're saying?
Yeah, but leave $1 in.
Right,
so
to
I
keep the
can
line
track,
open, yeah.
In case I end up doing something different. I'll sit back here and pout, but if you want to,
Well, we don't want you pouting.
How about 8,400? If it's that big of a
All
deal.
right.
All right, so which one?
Meters in the middle?
No. Will that take away the pout?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
I'd like to see Betsy smile. You ready for us, chief?
Well. So it's $549. And that, I mean, we're scraping to find that.
Yeah, I think the majority of the increase was 1,000 and some over this current year. I think it was mostly in the merit and the COLA.
Yep, I see that. Just under, yeah, well, talking with the FICA and Medicare, you're talking a little over 1,000, but.
I think you've done a good job, Betsy, on your budget.
So that brings the total increase in that budget to $790.04. I mean, I also think you've done a good job with your budget. You have always done a good job with your budget, as everybody else has. Just. Okay, thank you, Betsy. Chief. Let's see, where are we? Uh-oh. This is where we cut services, we're going back to bicycles.
I'm gonna give out your cell phone number.
I'm kidding, Chief. I'm kidding.
I'm gonna give out your cell phone number to the residents when they complain about response times.
Okay, let's see. The largest increases in full-time salaries, and I think, because you were putting in for a grant for an SRO,
Correct.
and what's our matching portion of that? You told us, I don't remember.
$37,996.56. And the school technically would be covering 26,000. $26,597.60 of that, so the town portion of it would be $11,398.96.
But we get reimbursed from the school, correct?
We get reimbursed from the school.
We have to budget for the full amount.
We
get
budget for the
reimbursed.
full amount because he's employed through the police department. He
Right.
or she is employed through the police department. And then we have to request that money back from the school.
Kind of like they do with us.
Correct.
So Chief, would that be a new employee?
That would be a new employee. Yes. So unfortunately, if you're talking about cutting services, it's kind of tough for the police department to ask to put a new service in place. It's my recommendation that we don't cut that service because I think that's a service that we need at our school as an SRO. The SRO not only brings safety and security into the school building, but it also gives the students and the children in this town an officer that they can talk to on a different level, in a
Right.
different light. If any
And
of
this-
these kids are watching the media right now, they see cops as the wrong light.
Right.
Um,
And this individual will also be doing DARE programs, possibly?
Correct.
It's been a lot of years since
Yeah, I
there's someone in
mean,
that
so-
place, right?
We haven't had DARE since actually since the year I took over, so it'll be 3 years this year we have not had DARE.
Yeah.
It was the year that Silly left.
Correct.
Yep.
Which I'm hoping to, the DARE program, as long as my officer gets in December, DARE program will be back in this school year.
Mhm.
So it'll be back in either January or February, as long as the officer gets into the class in December. So that, the SRO grant doesn't have anything to do with the DARE program. The SRO officer will be doing DARE once,
Right.
if we get the grant. And that's the other thing, is we're budgeting for this, but we have not even been told by the federal government that we get this grant. I was hoping that we would have been told by now, seeing we had to have it in, as you guys remember, we had to have that grant in by, I think it was June 20th.
Right, no, I remember that.
And we still haven't heard from the federal government who's been awarded, who has not been awarded. So, and they haven't given us any
So there's-
time frame on when we're
There
gonna
is
get.
a possibility that 37 and change would come out if we don't get the grant.
Correct, if we don't get the grant, that 37,996.56 would come out.
When will you know?
Don't know. Federal government hasn't given us any time frame.
This year? Next year?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And part of the 92,537 is part of that, right? The increase? the
Yes,
total?
the largest part of my increase is the SRO grant.
Yeah.
You have a $10,000 increase in my overtime, and that's to correct what I see as a deficiency in how we pay our officers to go to court. I don't
Right.
think it's appropriate the way we pay our officers to
Are
go
you
to
doing
court.
overtime now with officers in light of Officer Reed's absence?
Yes. We are spending more overtime because of that. And the only reason my budget doesn't really show that much is because we are also down another officer.
Right.
So you guys are aware of the officer we're down. We've been down it
Yep,
since.
okay, I was trying to run through my head. Yeah, I came to me, you
Yeah.
said it, yep. You're right.
We've been down that position since July.
Okay.
And I mean, I do like Pat does. I run my budget like it's my personal budget at home. If I don't need it, I don't use it. If I don't need to put overtime out, I don't put overtime out.
Sure, I understand. And I think everybody that we're talking to also does the same thing, and it's greatly appreciated, just,
So the question is, Rich, I wouldn't know where to begin to make cuts in the police department's budget. Where do you think if you had to make cuts, where would you make them?
If I had to make a cut, well, I'd probably take, I don't really want to do it because it leaves us no ACO again, but I'd probably take about $6,000 out of the part-time line, move it down to $6,000. I did not hire an ACO this year, as you guys know,
right?
so this will be a full year without an animal control officer. We've gotten lucky, and we've been able to handle it with just the patrol guys on the street. With that being said, are we gonna run into next year like we had 2 years ago, where we used a lot of the animal control officer, and he or she, being in the animal control position, is our rabies expert, basically. So that's the person we send to the specialized rabies classes. That's the person who goes and gets the rabies series. The last thing I want to do is send all of my cops down to get the
Right.
rabies series.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk of money. But
These are people who risk their lives.
Oh, no, I don't disagree with you on
It's not
that.
like salt in our wood, not that it's any less important, but
I mean, my plan was to, with the part-time line, we haven't used really any of it this year because, as you guys know, our part-time officer has a full-time job. So he covers shifts on the boat as much as he possibly can.
Right.
That doesn't leave him a lot of time during the summer, doesn't leave him a lot of time, just days off in general. So my plan was to hire a second Marine Patrol officer for part-time next year, which, if we need to, we can bring it down to $6,000 and I can make it work with the two of them for $6,000. It puts the boat, hopefully puts the boat on the water more next year, but doesn't put the boat on as much as we have in
Past.
many years past. And I mean, we haven't seen, since Officer Johnson, we haven't had the boat on the water for as much as we would like it to be on the water for a very long time. But we've also seen a decrease in boating traffic. This year, we saw a little bit of an increase in boating traffic, but in years past, when gas prices were way up,
I was just gonna say, that's probably. the
gas
factor right
prices
there.
were up, boating was way down. My expectation is that if gas prices continue like they are and go down, I think next year you're gonna see a large amount of people on the water. When we start to get more people out on the water, we get a lot more reckless operations, and we get a lot of people who are just plain driving like they shouldn't be.
Right.
So if there was a line I was going to cut, it would be $6,000 out of that line, and I'll make the $6,000 work. And if I have to come back to you guys next year and say, look, $6,000 didn't work, we gotta go back up to 12, then we go back to 12. Or we have to hire an ACO, we go back up to 12, and we get the ACO back on board. But, I mean, the two spots,
It's again, his first point, not having an ACO, he's risking the officers
Yeah,
who aren't trained.
not being trained in rabies, getting them.
well,
And then it just stumbles, it's the snowball effect, you know, you have another officer down.
but this is what you have to remember, is the officers are the first ones to respond to any call for service. Whether it's a rabies incident or not, the officers are going first because the animal control officer is part-time, isn't working a regulated shift. So if a call comes in at 2 o'clock in the morning where there's a rabies incident,
It's an
the
officer.
officers are the ones going to it anyways. So I guess the bigger question is, do I look at giving all of my officers, just like we gave them all the hepatitis series? When we hire people, we give them the hepatitis series if they haven't already had it. So is it something we look at and we start giving all of our cops the rabies series so that they're protected when they go to these calls? Okay.
What's the cost on that, do you know?
I don't know, we haven't
Well-
done it in a long time because Officer Moran was the only person we did it on. Some officers, I can tell you, are probably gonna refuse it and not want it.
Mhm.
No offense, but the last thing I wanna have, I don't care if they call it a vaccine or not, but the last thing I want is a rabies vaccine to protect me from getting bit.
Yeah,
Because I know the rabies series itself is not a comfortable series
I was gonna say,
whatsoever.
I've heard it wasn't.
No.
Very painful.
But I can make $6,000 work in that line.
I'll accept it.
Okay,
If you can make it work.
if you can make it work, I
I'll
mean,
make it work. I'll have to make it work. I'll make it work. It's not a big deal, I mean.
appreciate that.
The other increase in my budget that we don't have control over is the retirement line.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. And this-
It went from 25.3% to 26.38%.
Dennis,
Name for the record?
Dennis Wayne.
Okay.
I listened to your presentation online regarding the court appearances. And I was curious, I couldn't figure out why you're asking for overtime instead of not straight salary, straight wage.
Because court is on top of your 40 hours.
So you can't schedule it in a way that it is part of your 40.
No, because we don't know court that
Okay.
well.
Okay, I seen this, okay.
We subpoena our officers as much in advance as we can of court, but 90% of the time you show up to court, you walk through the door, and either the defendant decides when they come in that day that they're gonna ask for a continuance, they're gonna ask for, or they're gonna plea out, or they're gonna go to trial. So we can't, there's no way for us to schedule it and say, okay, you're going to court on these hours, you're not going to court on these hours. If the officer's on during the day, they don't get paid overtime because it's part of their shift.
Okay.
What's the new total, Tom?
What's that? New total is 953, 805, 89. We'll round it up later.
Yeah.
And obviously, Tom, if we don't get the grant, Mr.
Right.
Chairman, the new total would be 902,44018. So it would be just over a $35,000 increase, and that's,
902 what?
if we don't get the SRO grant, it's 902,440.18.
I don't suppose it's any good to call and find out where we are with that.
I'm lucky if I can get an email back from the grant office. They, basically, they'll let us know when they let us know.
So apparently the federal government's not too concerned that we have to sit here and do this and things
The
like
problem
that.
is it's the grant office, and that grant money, there were 4 different types of things you could apply for in that grant money this year, in
Right.
that pool of grant money. So you're gonna get police departments throughout the country putting in, it's not like that money is allocated to New Hampshire, and it's just New Hampshire police
Okay.
departments requesting that money. This is nationwide, everybody's got the same fingers in the pot, basically, applying for that money. And I can tell you right now, there's gonna be a lot of schools that meet the standard and the need more than the town of Milton and our school does.
Right.
Sometimes with the smaller towns, like in the COPS grants we've applied for before, first year we applied for it, we didn't get it. They told us to reapply the next year, and then the next year we got it. Is it my expectation that that's gonna happen this year? Probably, because our last COPS grant ended last year.
Right.
So the expectation that this year, we're probably not going to be approved for the grant, but I'm not gonna not put that in my budget, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
come January, they tell us, oh, by the way, you got approved for the grant.
Right, then we
And
get,
then at deliberative session, we're coming in and asking the residents to put $37,000 into a budget so we can accept this grant.
Right.
My hope was that we would have the answer by now, so then we could do our public hearing and have the residents do their input on it, and have the school's public hearing, have the residents put their input in on it. And if at the public hearings, we have people that the majority of them say, no, we don't want that grant, then we know what direction we go in for the
Right.
school.
Right.
If we have the majority of people at the public hearing that say they want it, we leave it in and we go forward. I obviously don't want to have to wait till deliberative session to make a decision whether we take that money out or leave it in, but I don't have any control over it.
no, I know,
when
this
we
is,
get it.
I mean, this is one of those things that, and I agree with you, if we don't have it in there and they say, oh, by the way, you got the grant, we're on the outside looking in.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think the SRO is something we need. We need something in our schools, not just our schools, every school. So that leaves an increase of, oh, Mr. Catwick.
Tom, I'd like to take the time to thank the chief for an outstanding job controlling his budget. I'm representing the budget committee as I'm speaking as well. I'd like to thank him for doing a superb job in the last 5 or 6 years, including our other chief, for doing an outstanding job, keeping his budget the way it is, the way that crime is today in the United States.
I agree.
Thank you, chief.
Yeah, thank you,
You're
Chief.
welcome.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Nope. What's that?
I'll just second what John said.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree with you. It's not an easy job. Well, we can either go down the list and just very straight down the list, and the first one I got on the list is treasurer. But did you give these guys this list today too, buddy?
Yep.
They have it, okay.
I think, I don't remember.
No,
Okay, well,
that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Them all.
treasurer. One thing we talked about,
Is that COLA?
Nicola, removing the COLA,
Yep.
1.7, to both, line 120 and 130. Is line one, let me back up on that a minute. Line 120,
Who's the deputy treasurer?
that's the deputy treasurer, that's not elected, is it? That's a part-time,
Salaries.
salary, part-time? I mean, it's,
Appointed,
appointed?
appointed by the treasurer.
Okay. I mean, even with that 1% COLA, we're talking like $1.79, so I mean, it's not worth the conversation, in my opinion. So I will leave that one alone.
But on line 130,
130,
just take that 1.7 COLA out of there.
yep. So that would leave it at the $6,760.
Yep.
Okay.
FICA Medicare is gonna change.
Yeah, FICA Medicare change. Do you have a new number for those by any chance, or?
I'm looking at it right now. So
Mileage and travel, can she?
We're gonna talk about that, I got that on my list too.
The
So,
FICA,
I don't want to get the FICA Medicare numbers.
You
the
right?
FICA will be 425.74, the new amount.
What is
Yeah.
it?
425.74.
Yeah. And the Medicare will be 100 even.
Okay. Okay, back to what Mike was getting to on the mileage and travel. She's got budget of $1,150. We have a town vehicle that, in my opinion, should be used more than, what we're looking at here. That's a lot of money for mileage.
There may be times when she has to,
I have
'cause
mentioned this to you before. There are some physical issues for using it going up. I mentioned that to you guys back a few months ago. I don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Right, no, we can't talk about that, but that's why we got the vehicle.
Mhm.
If we need to do something to make that vehicle more accommodating to her, then that's,
I mean, is it sitting there enough where she could use it a little bit?
I would think so.
I mean, every time I go by here, it's sitting there. I mean, I'm not saying that we're not
I mean,
using it,
The only one, no,
because we are using it.
credit to Michelle,
Yeah.
she's a,
I can tell you signing in and out of that sheet, I think it's, since we've had it, there are only 2 instances where that vehicle's been moved other than me.
Yeah.
2.
needs to look at that, find out what we can do, if we can do anything at all, to help
You
reduce
cannot,
that.
because it's an SUV and you have to climb up into it in this particular situation.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I understand. Does it have running boards on it?
It does.
Yeah,
Does
it does.
that was the whole purpose of having that vehicle. Is to bring this mileage cost down. In this instance, instead of going down, it went up.
That's because of the mileage rate increase that
Right, I understand that, but yeah.
So should we put Michelle's name on?
Or can I just have a key? That would be nice.
What about her deputy? Could her deputy use the vehicle
I
too?
don't know. She has a full-time job during the week, her deputy,
Mm-hmm.
so she's not able to come over here during the week. I can't answer some of these questions because I don't know.
Should we just table this one for now, Tom? So we get some answers on this?
Yeah, I mean, because I've got, right, because I've got another question. Are we being charged mileage from her home to here? If we are, that's commuting. You don't get paid for commuting.
Right.
I don't recall off the top of my head on her mileage sheet. I doubt it, but I don't recall.
Well, let's.
All right, we need more answers on that.
Yeah. What's next, Tom?
I mean, is there any, sorry,
No, go ahead.
I mean, is on the post office, the bank, stuff like that, is that something that another employee can do, or are we cut way too short to ask? you know, I mean, say if Michelle's going to the bank, couldn't she go to the bank for more than just herself?
Right
Or-
now, I go for the bank, for the recreation department, for my office, for the fire department, for, transfer station gives me their money. They give them to me in bank, locked bank bags, and I make the deposits. I'm not sure why I don't get other departments, I don't know. I can't
John?
answer that.
May I have a question on that?
Yeah.
I was turned to believe that that was the right way to do it, and I started going through one person like most people were, and I was taught by a town administrator that we made a mistake doing that. Could you comment on that, Liz?
I don't remember the specifics of it, but I believe it has to do with grant money or something has to be counted out so that it can be applied properly in her accounts for you.
I didn't understand it when she told me that, and I still don't.
It's my understanding it falls under the Selectmen's receipts deposits, and that's handled by the land use clerk and the assessing director.
It'd be nice if we had one place to do it all, if all of us
Right,
could save money
Yeah, yeah.
back and forth. But
Yeah.
as far as the grant thing, I don't think it's got nothing to do with other than the 50% towards a grant.
'Cause
In some cases, in other cases.
Just have her reiterate what she told me,
Okay,
and
thank you,
I'll
I
pass it on to
appreciate
you
that.
again.
Right.
Yep.
Because it sounds like I'm kind of like maybe going around circles, I don't know.
Okay. Well, on this one, so far, we have,
Which one do you want, planning board?
well, I'm just trying to recap this one right here, where we are right now. So we've lowered this one a little over $100. No, I mean, not a lot of money, but
Right,
still, it's a start, and we've got to revisit that mileage, because I think
yeah.
there's things that can be done. All right, let's do planning board. Planning board. There were no increases. $1,250 is what the planning board is asking for. And there were absolutely zero increases. And that's what they got last year was the same.
The request for 2016 is lower than their budget for 2015.
No, I got the same amount.
Yeah, same.
30, what do you have?
$1,250.
Planning board.
You got planning and code.
Oh.
You got planning board.
Yeah.
All right.
I know they've, year to date, they've overexpended their public notices. Printing looks like it's on track. Training, I don't think they've sent anybody to training yet, I don't know why, but. So, I mean. I don't see anything we can do with that one. It's level funded from last year. You, Mike?
No.
Okay, planning and code is next. The only increases I see in this one, there's 1.7 COLA and the 2% that we asked them to put in. And,
Code, the New Hampshire Health.
yeah, New Hampshire Health
Also-
Officers, New Hampshire Building Officials Code.
It's only up $300.
That's $300. Comments, thoughts, anyone? Board?
No, I think he's
That
doing
was
a good
I
job.
can't see. Nice. No fat on that one.
There's not much fat on any of them. Zoning. Let me reiterate that. There's no fat on any of them. This one is also level funded from last year at $1,085. 250, 50, 400.
Hasn't been really a busy year for zoning either.
No, it hasn't been. I mean, this could change drop of a hat, depending on what happens.
Don't have the actuals to go by either.
I do right here.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I printed this out to this expenditure report we got today.
This one right here for.
No, that's actually last year's budget. I get the expenditure report. Maybe zoning.
$928.15.
925.15 is the expenditure report.
Okay.
Does zoning even have a
4242.
4242, 4245, 4215? I don't have a 4242. I got 4215 to 44.
It's in there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right there.
I'm sorry. Got it. Year-to-date on training, they spent $60. They spent public notices on registry deeds, $0. Public notices, $551, which is is overspent by $151.
Yeah.
Printing, they spent $29.75.
We expended on the.
Postage, they were expended that one.
That might just even out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, once they start moving money on, there's not gonna be, to cover up the over expended, there's not gonna be anything there. Okay. Conservation. And just for the record, I did see the email that came through today asking we not do this one today because they want to have someone here from the Conservation Commission. I'm sorry that, I think we need to go forward with it. I mean, we've only got a certain amount of time.
I emailed her back and let her know that.
Okay, thank you. Because now it's unfortunate they couldn't be here, but we really can't, drag our feet. I did have a couple of items I highlighted here on this one just for discussion, see what you guys' thoughts are. This one had an increase of $9,428 and it's a $14,000. Last year was a $4,672 budget. This year's a $14,100 budget. Couple of things I'm looking at. Legal defense, they put in $5,000, and I understand their reasoning for that. I just wonder if we can lower that, bring that down to a couple thousand, or 3,000, or 2,500. I mean, right now they're trying to create a nest egg, and I do understand that.
Enforcement of the easement violations, what do you mean by that? By having Charlie? Is that what you mean, or having it monitored?
No.
Litigation.
If they gotta go to court.
Like, what's going on? Of the older, poorly created conservation easements.
Professional services jump way up.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one too.
I mean,
$5,000.
I could,
Over $5,000.
Yeah, I know.
well, we're on legal defense, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I say trim that down.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it was never there. Let's just start with, you know, like a few grand or 2,500.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, we can drop it down to 2,500, and if, 2,500 doesn't work, we'll look at it next year, maybe we'll have to bring it up or whatever, I don't know, but we gotta start somewhere in this.
Yeah. And is this something new this year, that
Yes.
the water testing?
No, the water testing has always been in the budget someplace. It used to be in contingency and bonding, but it was decided that it actually belongs in conservation. And that water and testing is for TPPA.
I know it was an outside appropriations
Yeah.
for a while too.
Yeah,
which is
so
not
it
the
doesn't
right-
belong there.
No.
The two things on professional services I have questions on, they got $2,500 for Stratford Regional Planning Commission, contract planning work for ordinance updating the groundwater protection in process. Do I think it's important? Yeah, I do think it's important. Do I think this is a year we should be tackling that? No. This is one of those things that there should have been some planning ahead of time to come to talk to before they started the process, but I don't think this is a year we want to be looking at spending that kind of money. And then they also have the next one, Stratford Regional Planning Commission for Master Plan Update. Again, that's $2,500. The master plan update is the responsibility of the planning board. So, I mean, I'm looking at $5,000 in my mind that we can take out of there.
So that master plan update for the 2,500 would be an outside concern.
Yeah, that'd be the Stratford Regional Planning Commission.
Right.
They want to hire someone to do that, part of the update, and that's.
Where
that's
is
a-
the planning board on the master plan anyway? Is
They-
it at the point where they would have to, near that point where they'd have to spend that money to have
No, the,
Stratford come in and?
no.
No?
No, this is Conservation Commission wanting to do their part of it,
Right,
and they want to spend $2,500.
right.
I just don't think this is a year that we want to be spending money like that. And I mean, again, the master plan update is responsibility of the planning board in conjunction with, conservation and all that.
Yeah.
It's with the commissioners themselves, not with an outside source, seeking approval first. John, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was curious on whether they were budgeting for this strategy plan that's going on with the Stratford County on the scenic byway.
It's not in here.
They haven't even presented that to the Board of Selectmen in Milton yet, so
No,
it can be.
no.
Yeah, I think they need to present it.
I mean, we're looking at two things here that just kind of like putting the cart before the horse type thing.
Looking for wherever we can get.
All right, so, I mean,
I'm in agreement with it.
I'm for taking that $5,000 out of that professional service line.
Yep.
Andy?
Yeah. So it'll be back to 1,700. Or down to 1,700. not back
Right.
to it.
So we're gonna leave just the water testing?
Water testing's been there all along.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been moved from a different
Moved,
area in the budget
Yep.
to here where it belongs. So we have removed 7,500 of this, so let me see where we are. From the Stratford Regional Planning Commission Master Plan Update.
So what's in process right now with the groundwater protection?
They have had I forget his name, I apologize for that, come in and talk to the planning board about doing an overlay map and doing this and doing that. And I don't think there's been a lot of work done to it yet. Is there work that needs to be done to it? I'm sure there is. I just don't think this is the year.
Okay.
All right, next we got economic development.
Are you keeping a total there, Liz, as well? Of how
A
much
grand,
money?
a grand total?
Well, she's
No.
doing each budget individual, and she'll have to give us a total later.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to do next?
Economic development. This is a new budget. I know you weren't here, Mike, but Eric Knapp came present the budget to us, did a very good job, I thought, of presenting it. And I think this is an area where we actually need to focus on economic development. I mean, he's only got $3,500 into it. $2,500 goes for a contract with UNH Cooperative Extension to conduct a local business and retention program designed to increase local expansion of existing business.
Yeah, why we want to cut our legs off from underneath this.
Exactly, I mean, this-
We're moving up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, even though it's $3,500, I think this is one of the areas where if this whole thing can come together, it's gonna pay some dividends, so. I really don't wanna touch this budget, but I'll leave it up to you guys.
No, I agree. Okay.
Okay. Budget committee. I just have one question for the chair of the budget committee.
Yeah.
How's your note taking?
Not good.
Oh,
I've only had one secretary doing one of the minutes, and I've been doing the
how come I
rest.
don't have a budget committee? Did I put it in the wrong place?
So you're still taking the minutes,
Yeah, I mean,
Bob?
this is what I got.
Right there.
We
Yeah,
had
this is all I
to,
got.
because
That's it.
we're
That's it?
overtime.
Yeah,
I think she's got a different
No, there's
position.
nobody
Wow.
else on the committee that'll take the minutes?
1890?
Yeah, 1890.
Yeah, he won't let them go.
What do you mean?
He wants to do them.
No, my
I'm
question
only
was,
doing that
Bob,
Because somebody's gotta do it, okay? Nobody on the board wants to do it, so somebody has to. So I took it upon myself to do it. Because you gotta have a record of all this.
Right.
I'm getting better at it, my pages are getting smaller. You know, not so detailed as I used to be. But somebody's gotta do it. I had this girl once, and she did a great job, but then 2 in a row, she missed. And somebody's gotta do it, and nobody on the board wants to write the minutes. So somebody has to do it, I'm doing it for the time being. So I don't know what's gonna happen next year.
I thought
Next
Ann
chairman
Walsh,
will have
Ann
to take
Walsh
care of it.
offered to do them, didn't she?
What?
Ann Walsh, she offered to do them?
She's got a lot to do right now, and she didn't wanna do it. She did it twice, but she said, I really don't wanna get into it, so. And we're part of the withdrawal plan with Wakefield. There's going to be a lot of issues with that. A lot of issues.
I recommend Larry Brown does it.
I have the say on that, okay? Don't cause me any more, I don't need any more issues, okay?
On
Careful,
a, on a
careful.
computer.
No, I'm just
You're
trying to help, I was just,
You're being recorded, Bob, be careful.
It is on. You put me in a good spot. I'm gonna remove myself as chair.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
no,
Well, we got $65 per meeting at 21 meetings for the recording clerk. And $525 for 3 public hearing notices. $1,890.
are you actively looking for a recording clerk? Is it in the paper or anything, or is it on our website?
You know, Liz has been doing a lot for me, okay, but the thing is to get, the people, they send their resumes, but when you go to talk to them, it may not be enough. During the first few months, it's only once a month, and it's not probably a whole lot for anybody to do. Our meetings don't last more than maybe an hour. It's the budget session that really begins, really heavy.
Right.
Oh, I
It's
understand.
the timing with everything.
No, I just know, it's just a lot for you, Bob. I'm just looking out for you, really. I mean,
Well,
I
you know,
appreciate everything you
appreciate it
do.
very much, but I took it upon myself, and I'm preparing for the budget season. Presentations aren't gonna be that bad. Maybe during this, when we sit down and talk about this, it might be, but it's gotta get done. And nobody wants to do that, and I'm not forcing no one. So Liz has been doing a great job, but it's one of those jobs that
you know.
It's hard
I
to
might
fill.
find out, well, she can explain much better, she told me it's a
Yeah.
job that,
It's hard to fill,
hard to
No, I-
fill.
It is,
I'm
it's a tough position.
especially at this
I only
rate.
put the budget in there
Right.
because if we do get lucky, or if
Well-
I'm on my way out, I might decide to do it for the budget committee.
Could we narrow the meetings down, so say like 19 meetings or 18 meetings, and raise the money per meeting to try to maybe get somebody to do it?
See, this is unpredictable, because depends on what happens to the budget or when I
Right.
get it. Depends on how long we're gonna be working on it. Now, we're probably gonna have 4 presentations, and I gotta leave room for you people, because your warrant articles are not gonna be ready till somewhere in December, so I've got to try. And I may be able to cut some of those minutes, but I put a buffer in there only because I may have to call one. It depends, I don't know anything about the
Because like
CIS.
during the summer months, you wouldn't need a recording clerk, you could just do it yourself, and when you ramp up your meetings, you could raise this $65 per meeting.
One second, Michelle, one second.
Can I suggest, can I make a comparison for you so that you understand where he's coming from? How about for your workshops, you take the minutes?
No, I
No, but I
understand.
mean, that's where,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to be part of a meeting
It really
and
is.
take minutes.
It
I
really
know,
is.
So
that's
hard.
that's what my whole discussion here is
That's
about,
what
to
he-
try to
that's
help
what he's
them.
saying. That's what he's saying, but the thing is, you.
I think you should budget for someone for all the meetings, I really do.
Chief?
I used to take minutes, and I
Right.
know what it's like.
Right.
But like Liz said, $65 is not
You're right.
very
You-
much.
you
So that's why I
probably
said
increase
maybe you could, go 18 meetings and raise it up a
Yeah.
little bit.
The budget committee is one of those areas where you don't know how many meetings you're gonna have. It depends how many questions the budget committee themselves have, how long they drag it out, and I don't mean drag it out in a negative way.
No,
I mean,
I understand that.
Yeah.
But you also gotta look too at the school. I got the school to deal with as well, so don't know how many meetings. We project 3, but if there's something that's gonna carry us over, and maybe not ready, because we have the SAU budget we have to deal with as well. Well, actually, we can't do anything with the SAU, but we still have to look at it. But it's also warrant articles, and sometimes we get bogged down on a couple issues. Last year, we were going right at half hour before the public hearing.
It's true.
We got caught into a wording issue. So it depends. I just try and put a buffer in there, but in the summer months, once a month, and it's less than an hour. That doesn't take long to write out, but
Right.
Yeah,
it's
I
the
mean,
budget season that you really do need it with. It's still unpredictable. Now, I don't know when I'm gonna get your budget, so I have to schedule way ahead of time. And I have to get the rooms prepared, so I got a place to meet.
Right.
And it depends on how many. I'm thinking we're gonna go 4, because I got a funny feeling we're gonna be going a lot of questions. We're gonna be,
Yep, I think so too.
okay, then we have to meet.
Yep. Chief, you had a question or a comment?
Has the town looked at the Dragon software? It's software.
In the years
Oh,
past.
When you speak it.
Yeah,
Right.
in years past, the problem that, and I don't know if it's changed any, but in years past, they'd have to recognize your voice.
Well, the new software has gotten a lot better where you can plug in the actual recorder. So the person who is monitoring it when it's going through has to go in and document the name of the person that's saying it. So I haven't tested the software. The software gets good reviews. It may be something that the town purchases, and the departments or the committees that don't have people who take minutes for them can use that software. And at least it would expedite the process of typing the minutes up. Now, if the software doesn't work, and then it's a small fee for the town to pay to get a software that they tried it, you find out it doesn't work, and they may be able to demo it and try that way. You can plug in, as long as you have a digital recorder, you can plug it in, and hopefully it takes the minutes and dictates all of it for you. You just have to then go back in and say, okay, this was Chairman Gray, this was Selectman Bellew, this was Selectman Rawson. And you'd have to go through, and hopefully the software can differentiate between the different voices, and you can put that stuff in there.
Yeah, not, like I said, years past, it was brought up back when Bob Cernak was around, and I think he was the one that had tried it himself, and some of the stuff that,
Yeah,
they
I
didn't
mean,
recognize the voices, so it would type whatever,
the software has gotten a lot better.
is it?
Yes.
It's verbatim minutes instead of brief just
Right.
minutes.
Yeah. So you say the police department's gonna buy that? Is that what I heard?
Police department officers type all their own reports.
I,
Well, the only thing, Tom, is I take the recorder here,
right,
and sometimes the video you take is, usually if it's up the next day, it helps me get through it. So
Right.
that's why I'm not thinking I'm gonna have that much of a trouble putting it together.
Yeah.
Because some of the budget sessions we already had, I'm already starting to write it. And
I think if we were to use the camera, the video and audio for all meetings, including the budget meeting, it'd be a big help there.
Would, because it's
And-
already started.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that, you know, you as being chairman, I think it'd be a good suggestion is like I make sure everybody states their name
Yes,
that's speaking, so the people that can't see their faces know who it is.
yeah. I'm gonna do that. I'm going to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Presentations are gonna be nothing, because I've already heard the
Right.
presentations already. I'm gonna incorporate now, I'm gonna do it now, then add to it as I go along. They won't be as long, I guarantee it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna streamline it pretty good,
Okay.
but there'll be enough content in there so you'll know it.
I personally don't see where we can do anything with this budget, just, you know, this year.
It
but-
may not be the whole 21 meetings. I just
Right.
put that in as a buffer, because
Yep.
there's too many. You're starting in October, and I know the warrant articles and the CIP won't come out till later, so I have to schedule somewhere in December.
Right,
We're
So-
still on a training ground, with everybody doing their budgets like this too.
yeah. Yep. So,
And you're doing a great job, Bob, making
You really
a
are.
mistake, and Andy
And
was
it's-
only just trying to.
No,
point
I
out
wasn't
what's
trying,
not
I wasn't trying to, lower your professional
No,
line.
I understand
What I
you're
was just trying to do was maybe
Yeah, but
not do the meetings in the summer, raise the rate, so when you ramp up for your budget season, you'll have, maybe you know, that's the way I was just trying to do it, but.
yeah, it's,
well, no, but the issue is dead. Okay, I'm the
I
chair,
would
and
do
I'm going to cover it.
65.
No, I wouldn't either, that's why, but, no, if he's fine, I want
No,
him just to be
no
happy.
offense, Andy, but somebody's got to do it, and I feel comfortable doing it. And when the time comes, it may be a little slow, but then again, it may not. That video helps out, and
Okay.
that recorder I have will
All right.
help out.
Very
I
good.
All right.
agree with you saying,
all right, let's move on.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob, you are doing a great job, by the way, it's tough, it's a tough job. Welfare Department.
She's
Part-time.
still part-time, right? Yeah.
Yes, up to, based on 24 hours a week, that was an
Yeah.
increase of 5 hours?
One.
1 hour? Oh, that's right, 1, yeah, okay. That's fine. Annual welfare workshop, drop that. Actually, this budget has been dropped, about $5,000.
Yeah, Rachel's done it.
Kudos,
Yeah, well, a good job.
Yeah,
yep, kudos.
Fine job.
moving on.
Okay, moving on, moderator. We just received this one today officially. The moderator did talk to Selectman Ross and myself at the day of the elections and basically gave his thoughts on it, but we just received it officially today. It is an increase of, this is due to the number of elections, I'm
Elections.
assuming, yeah. This is an increase of $4,526.28.
There's not a lot you can do with that. Can't
No.
touch it.
No, and just for the public and the audience that will be watching this, this basically is because of the elections, they're budgeting for 5 elections with the ballot clerks and the whole 9 yards.
Plus 20 voter booths, trays.
Yeah, and they got $2,000 in there for voter booth trays, and that's for 20 of them, and that's, again, just, again, for the public, and there is an RSA in the show, I don't remember what this is, so you have to forgive me, but that states there has to be so many voting booths per registered voter. Our registered voting status is increasing, so they have to make sure we have enough voting booths to accommodate. Not to say they're all gonna show up, there's gonna be a lot of them empty, but to cover state statute, we have to make sure we have the right amount, So,
So based on that, Michelle, last year's election, with the record amount that turned out, were we under the recommended amount of booths per voter?
I can talk to you about this election.
Yeah.
I can tell you, as of right now, we are one booth over what we have for registered voters. So if we see what we saw last year for town election, for presidential election,
Yeah.
for presidential election, we're not gonna have enough booths.
Yeah.
We won't. Not if we see what we saw last year.
Right,
Right.
and it's not per the number of show up, it's per the number of registered voters.
Right,
Registered
it's,
voters.
I think it's, for
Yeah.
presidential, I think it's one booth for every 150.
Yes.
And then for a different election, it's one for every 200, one for every 250.
Right.
But I think the presidential one is the one that we're required to have the most booths.
Yep. And that is a state law, so we can't do much with that one. Unless you guys want to take a roll of the dice. Sewer. Dale's done a good job with this one, I can see. He's kept the contract services line down by just an increase of $22. Electric is 5%.
You have 5%?
Like I
That's
said,
6.
excuse me, 6%.
He's only up over, a little over $1,000.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the burner security monitoring, right?
Yes,
That's the one
yeah.
that went up.
That's the one that
line.
went up. We were
Yeah.
forced to go into a different type of monitoring for our
Right.
security. And that's because $1,242. We were forced to go into a different monitoring process because our current person said, our current agency said they're not doing it anymore.
Is he getting a better deal on water than we are?
No, but he didn't put in for 15%.
Right.
He feels comfortable at just that slight,
All right.
yeah.
What do you pay for water?
He does a great job, and he's running away.
No, he does. Okay. 12:42 it is, unless you guys, no. Assessing. This is another one that went down overall. Just under $5,000 as a matter of fact.
Just about.
No, 3968 actually is a total decrease.
We don't have that, what is it, what is that, Avatar, on that audit, I'm sorry, the audit, assessing audit?
Yeah.
Remember one year it was like $70,000?
73,000 right there.
Yeah.
Contract assessor, assessing contract.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be a constant.
but I thought it was like once every 3 years and not every single year.
No, it's once every 5 years. It's a 5-year cycle.
Yeah,
In one of the 5 years, if you look at your 2014 column, it was 96,000.
Yeah.
That's the one high year every 5 years that's higher than the rest of them.
so the remaining every year is $74,000?
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
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 We're at 73 this year, so.
Yeah.
Good? Recreation.
Back there for just a minute, why does that have to be so high? What's involved with that?
Let me look at her backup. I don't recall the exact explanation, but.
Plus.
one-
The auditing, not the assessing.
Yeah.
They do 25, if I remember correctly, they do 25% every year. But every fifth year, they have to do a total.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. But there was something that she had mentioned.
Is that with Joanne and Joey and them?
Yeah, that's the
That's part of
company.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joanne or Susan?
Susan.
Susan, yeah,
Okay.
not Joanne, Susan, yeah. So I'm moving on, it's just a lot of money.
Yeah, I know what it is.
It's required by state law. It's mandated by state law. The 5-year cycle
Yeah,
and everything.
but not to have an outside concern, we don't take this to the bank, and no pun intended either. But, that couldn't, is that even possible to do in-house?
It is if you have full-time assessors on your staff,
Right,
which we do not.
right.
Smaller municipalities generally don't.
Hmm.
They do site evaluations, they go out and measurements and all that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, anytime there's a change, they also go out for those. Yeah, change in
Right.
land use.
Moving on.
Okay. I have just more of a question than anything else. And Andy, maybe you can help me with this one, being on the rec commission. Salary part-time,
Mm-hmm.
it went from 6,096 to 8148, and it's a salary part-time for 9 months at 20 hours per week. What are they getting, I mean,
Well, she's asking to move up her part-time salary, to 20 hours. It's only 15.
okay, I guess that was my question, what is
Yeah.
it now?
It's 15 hours. And, Karen, I mean, I think I think she needs this
Is it,
for,
okay,
she does a lot, and, what I see anyways.
so this basically just reflects the increase of hours,
Mm-hmm.
the 5 hours a week. And how many part-time employees are there?
One,
Just one?
the assistant director.
Okay. Okay.
She's not here to ask if she could,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, no.
I hate to
Maybe
put
we
this one
can-
to sleep, maybe we can ask her another time.
Revisit this one,
Yeah.
so. Okay, and supervisor checklist. And again, this one has gone up a couple thousand.
Because of the added election.
Because of the added elections, correct.
Maintenance, that's setting up the, setting up all the booths, all that, is that what that is?
No. That is the, I think she explained to us when she has to input new,
Software from the state.
well, it's not just a new software,
This
but.
is computer updates.
I think it had to do with the list and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was getting, the voters
Maintain
list.
the
New
list.
voters come in, new registered voters, she has to maintain a list and either remove some, add some.
Really, it's just,
Yeah.
it's with how many elections we're having this year.
Yeah.
Is where,
That's the biggest part of
Yeah.
it, exactly.
there's nothing we can do about it.
Nope. That one is what it is, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you wanna look at it. Trustees of the trust fund. Level funded. Oh, trustee bookkeeper, okay.
Yeah, that used to be in my budget, the town
Right.
administration budget.
Question, and I had this question on a couple of other ones, and now you it just brought it back to light. FICA and Medicare, are those taken out of, are those for, I mean, for stipends? I didn't think
Yeah.
stipends, they were, okay, I didn't think they were for stipends, but I could be wrong.
There are some that get, like the recording clerk, for instance,
Yeah,
has nothing taken out and the person would receive a 1099
Oh.
at the end of the year. This is a
Right.
little bit different.
right, right.
Same.
Okay. Contingency and bonding. This had a $40,000 increase because the fire truck lease payment was taken out of the fire department line, put it in the contingency bonding where it belongs, because it actually is a bond. Other than that, everything is level.
I remember the 17,000 from last year.
What's that?
Unanticipated expenses.
Right.
What does he use to date on that line?
A second. I'll get
I'm
it.
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I don't think anything's been used out of that line, it's for emergencies only.
Right.
Okay. I was just curious.
Although we
I
do
think we had
have some
used it.
possible allotted things having to do with litigation.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we had used that line a couple times throughout the year.
For emergency.
Contingency. Yeah, the unanticipated expenses, now they call it. We've spent $700 out of it, but I don't know for what, but
I don't either. But I'll find out.
yeah, so.
You remember, Tom, you've been on the board a long time, have you ever used
Yes.
just about all of that?
Yes, yes. That is used for unanticipated expenses, and there was a time back years past where we had to pay to remove a trailer off a piece of private property. Trailer was ours, the private property was private. They were going to start charging us rent because they took up the taxes. They were going to start charging us rent for the property, so we had to move the trailer or pay the rent. And it cost us, I want to say somewhere between $11,000 to $12,000 to get that trailer out there. So yeah, I can see where that can, just from past experience. Do I think we can lower it to 15,000? if I wanna go down to 10.
No, because future litigation,
Yeah, we do have some
pending
We have like
Pending
four,
issues.
don't we? Yeah.
some
that
things.
could hit that line.
Okay.
Hmm?
Okay.
Would you feel
Well,
comfortable with
okay,
15 or,
Yes, I would.
all right, 15?
Yep.
All right. I bring the new total down to 61,911. Which will bring the total increase for this line up to 38,909. Again, that's because we had to take the lease out of the fire department and put it in over here.
Yep.
So. Okay. Fire department. I mean, actually, this budget is down, but again, that's because of line share of it went down to the contingency bonding. Salary line was lowered by just under $4,000.
So you're saying the $4,000 wasn't in here, was what we just looked at in contingency?
The 40,000.
40,000.
40,909,
Right,
correct.
so he actually has an increase.
Right, no, he does, I'm just saying, looking at this. He doesn't have an increase, the total budget would have an increase.
Right, yeah.
Possibly, we'll see that when we get to the end.
He's not here to talk about it either. So.
I mean, I looked over this, I did talk to Chief Maurice today on the phone. I think he called you too, Andy,
Mhm.
told me he did anyways.
Yep.
And I hadn't seen anything that jumped out at me. Did either of you guys see anything that jumps out? I mean,
He just,
he
vehicle
gave us
maintenance.
an explanation that was pretty
I mean, there's an
straightforward.
increase in almost every line.
I know on the equipment purchase, he needs he was down 2 hoses. I heard him say that.
Yep.
So that's why the equipment that line is up, 2,000 because he's down 2 hoses.
On 741,
Mm-hmm. He lost two hoses.
Right.
Those aren't cheap. Vehicle maintenance is up $2,000.
What do you spend here, Dick?
I know he's up there on vehicle maintenance. He told me, cause he's had to buy a lot of tires and,
Yeah, he's overexpended his vehicle maintenance already.
on the 14,000.
Yeah, he's at 16,989.
the ladder truck has had some issues.
Yeah, he's
The car
And
one,
the ladder truck's what, 35 years old, something like that.
yeah,
So
and that's why he's not here tonight. he's at a meeting in, forgive me on what town, but on getting a, for the ladder truck, a,
Certification.
no,
Grant
a
or
grant,
something.
thank you,
Oh,
Liz.
yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
Grant.
You're right.
Um, So, which is very important.
And based on what we have right now, I don't see anything that we could. You? Huh?
I agree.
I mean, just kidding.
I guess again, this is another one of those departments.
The only other
Yes,
thing I just.
Bob.
Why can't we use some of that capital reserve fund? I know we went through this before, but you've got equipment purchases. I mean, there's money in that line, in that fund.
Because the capital reserve fund, and when we got the definitions for capital purchases, and this is for just like hoses, it's not a capital purchase.
What's
It
gonna
would-
be-
it would violate the purpose of the way the capital reserve funds were written.
Okay, when the CIP comes out, how's that gonna be drawn down, the capital reserve?
They'll use it, in conjunction with the CIP, use it for whatever they, whatever balance is left in that particular fund, whatever they, if they're buying like a truck or whatever it may be, they have to draw that down, the remainder will come out of the CIP, that'll drain that down. And that will eliminate that fund, then we have to vote to, remove it from the ballot, or remove it, totally close it. But as far as buying the type of equipment they were looking for here in the operating budget, it doesn't qualify for the capital reserve funds, because it's not capital expenditures. So it's the way the capital reserve fund is written.
Yeah, I know, I had to ask, I know you.
Yep, nope,
you
and-
wrote- You wrote it out for me, and I was trying to find that sheet.
Yep.
It's the definitions in
It is. We gotta be very careful with capital reserve funds that we don't violate the purpose of it, otherwise it can be confused and then we're stuck trying to collect money to pay for what we just bought, so. Emergency management. Okay. The only question I had on this one is, Liz, you already answered, that was the stipend for the FICA Medicare for the stipend.
That's why it went up.
Yeah,
It used to be taken out of the fire department budget, the
Yeah.
FICA and Medicare for this
Stipend.
position.
Yep.
But it
Yeah.
really should come out of this budget.
it should.
So it's the same, it's a,
Yeah, it's basically the same,
Just
the money was just transferred from one
Right.
department to another.
yeah.
Yeah.
Outside appropriations, how come you put yourself last? That's the one I got the most yellow marks on. Outside appropriations,
You were out, last time we.
yes, I was. I just wrote a little note on the bottom of this, and I have no reason, rhyme or reason, I just suggested level funding it from last year.
Yeah, I don't think it was put together badly last year.
No, I had no issues with it.
So when you say level funding, you're saying make the 2016 figures the same as the 2015 figures?
Yes.
That's the budget was approved last year, the 2015?
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
so that would reduce,
The only, would be Stratford Cap. Like oil assistance, et cetera. That's the only one that really is really looking for, a little bit extra, but. No, I'm fine with that.
okay.
I have a question for
Yep.
you in regards to line 352.
Yeah,
So that is a combination this year of 352 and 363.
Okay,
So did you want?
But there's no money in, the 2006.
Right,
Oh, but you're
because,
saying on the 2015.
right, because they merged
They
the
merged.
two organizations together. So did you want to do something specific with line 352 instead of the 500? Or maybe the 500 plus the 325
that's
from
what I was gonna
last
say,
year?
yeah, take the combination of two, put them in that line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still be less than the 16.
Yeah, I mean, it'll still be level funded, it's just
Yeah.
Okay,
whichever line is put in.
all right.
Good catch, Liz.
So what do you think, guys? You wanna call it a night and just keep Liz in suspense till the next?
So what was that difference, Liz, on that one, on the outside of
Well,
Crooker?
it's gonna take me, just about every line is gonna be changing.
Okay,
so
all right, that's
I
fine.
need two, if you
Don't
wanna
worry
wait 2
about it.
minutes or.
Nope, you can do it,
Yeah.
you can give it to us.
Okay,
Well, what the total new bottom line is?
Yeah,
It's 18,287, if we're gonna level
Right.
fund it.
okay.
okay.
And it's just a matter of her taking, line C 363 and 352 and combining them. So take the 325 from last year and the 500, so make it 825. Or whatever that is.
Mhm.
My God, it almost looks like it's written on yellow paper. Okay. I guess I'll start. Salary part-time,
Mhm.
do we have a part-time secretary now?
We do,
We do, okay. I guess I've never met her, so I don't,
okay.
and, okay, no, I mean, that's my question, because my question, if you said no, I was gonna say, why are we giving an increase if we haven't had one, but we do.
We do, yes.
I guess I'll have to come in and meet her one of these
Yeah,
days.
she's
When-
working tomorrow.
Okay, what time she get here?
Well, it's flexible, but usually mid-morning.
Okay. I'll have to make a point to meet her, like I said, I've never met her.
Does she work on Wednesdays?
Sometimes she does. It's up to 10 hours per week, when I say up to, so if there's not enough, then whatever it is, you know.
Right.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the two best days for her during the week.
Okay. Like I said, my only question is, why are we giving a COLA increase if we don't have someone filling now, but you
Yeah.
just. Legal services, 32 to 40,
Mhm.
and we are in some litigations, potential litigation now. And this was a suggestion from my town attorney.
Mhm.
Could we go 37 on that? Can we go 37 or, no?
I know, so gonna ask.
I'm okay with that. We did overexpend last year in 2014, but the 37 would have covered it. So, yeah, I'm okay if you want to lower that to, what did you say, 37?
No, that's just, you know, I'm not,
Yeah, he's throwing it out there for
Yeah.
conversation.
How many litigations are we going through right now? There's 3 that I know of. Is there more than that?
I mean, year to date, we've spent 11,990, according to this, September 25th.
Mhm.
Now, I do know there are some out there that are lingering.
mm-hmm,
Mhm. Yeah, we do have at least 3, and I'm thinking probably on the recent tax deeding that was done,
We'll probably see some extra on that.
there will be some
With
funds.
the auctions, is that,
No, the tax deedings that were just done, if any of the
Right.
properties are occupied, we'll have to go to district court through
Yep.
the eviction process. There are some costs for that. Anything that has to do with court is not covered by the monthly retainer.
Correct.
mm-hmm. Would you feel comfortable with 37,
37?
Liz?
Wow,
Heck
Well,
was
maybe
I
that?
hope that was a door.
We might need a new furnace.
Better stop.
Yes, I would, and if it's not enough, then next year I'll put in for another increase of a few thousand or something.
Hope not.
Night, who on earth would be downstairs at 8 o'clock at night?
That's probably our attorney downstairs to match if we cut his budget.
So,
I'm only kidding, Jim.
so is that a consensus on that line 37?
I'm good with 37. I mean, we'll take a shot at it. I mean, it's a shot in the dark. I mean, it's,
Yeah, yeah, because you can't
we don't know.
really-
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know who's gonna sue us, so.
You good with 37, Mike?
I think so.
Okay. Professional services, I had another yellow mark on that one. Okay, I guess what I'm looking at here is when a treasurer or deputy treasurer leaves office, is recommended to have an audit at $2,500 per audit, and we budgeted for 2 of them.
Mhm.
Do we feel it's necessary to budget for 2 of them? I mean, we haven't, to my
We
knowledge.
always have budgeted for 2, but 2 haven't been used.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, as long as I've been here, I don't think we've used any,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that, since I, yeah.
so. Can we drop that down to 2,500? Just budget
I
for
would
one?
be comfortable with that if you are.
This is on what now? Professional
Professional
services?
services.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a consensus?
Mike?
From 9,547 down to what?
No, I mean, to
Yep.
take 2,500 out of that.
Oh, okay.
Because that would bring it to
Yeah, so bring it back to
6631.
the-
I
almost
get
the-
7047.
Almost back to the 2014 budget.
You get 7047?
Yeah.
9131
7047.
minus 2500 equals, I get 6631. $9,131.
No. $9,547.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at 2015. See, I'm always trying.
You need a bigger calculator, Tom.
I know,
$7,047 for line 395.
I hate it when you're right.
I know, you tell me that all the time.
I had that one coming.
I should have said that wrong.
Nah, that's okay.
Live
That's
video.
okay, it shows we're human.
Oh, embarrassed.
Don't be, shows we're human. Membership and dues,
Yes.
another one I had to go.
Line 850.
Oh, that's why I did that one, because we don't have it, and that's where we're gonna revisit that later,
Right.
later date.
And that's gonna be, right, the
Yep.
New Hampshire Municipal Association annual dues. They haven't come up with the ones for 2016, and we have to pay those.
Yep.
We must pay those, and they're, well, it's about a little under 3,500 this year.
Yep.
And we have to, or we cannot be a member of.
Right, no, I was questioning, because there's nothing there, but
Yeah.
no,
So
you need to give us
that's
enough.
on your list.
Yep, it is.
So I'll bring it back to you when I have that line item total.
Bank charges, overdraft,
Yes, out of the selectmen's receipts deposits. And the treasurer recommends 4, I think that's what the backup says.
why would we have an overdraft? That's typically if you write a bad check.
Right? That's what it's for.
Right.
Yep, some
And
people pay with checks.
checks we received, you're talking about.
Yep, for the selectmen's receipts. Yep, whether it's to drop off money for an escrow account or
Okay,
things.
it's only $60, so I just questioning the
It's $15
per, yeah.
per, yeah, that the bank charges us.
And how many have we had in the past?
I don't know.
We don't have a way of tracking that, or was it, that
Oh, I'm
was,
sure it's easily available.
I mean, was it in last year?
I can,
870, no, we only have an 870, it's a new line, okay.
treasure. I don't think it's that many.
Then I got miscellaneous, but I'm reading your backup, and that's for funeral flowers and stuff, and,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think we should be touching that, I mean, it's, I only question if that should be in miscellaneous or somewhere else, but,
Sadly, it's used.
I know, that's what I said, I don't think we should be touching them.
Yeah.
I just question if that should be put somewhere else, or,
You know, I couldn't find an appropriate line item for that, because it is such a miscellaneous, you
Yeah.
know. It's one of, that's
I
a
guess
catch-all
I'm
line.
fine with the amount, I just was questioning where it was, if that's, we picked that.
Yeah. And, there's 3 bullet items there.
Yep. Yep, I'm looking at them. Okay, guys? Your turn. Yes, John?
Question was, my name is John Cowett. Did you budget around 4,000 for software and professional services for the cemetery?
I did budget for it,
Okay,
and
thank you.
but I'm not sure if it was in professional services or,
Contract services?
yeah. It is in the budget though,
Okay, thank
for
you.
$3,000. That's the amount you had given to me for Harris,
Yeah,
MuniSmart.
from your calls and your experience, we talked about there will be a service charge yearly.
It's in contract services. Yeah, the first year is always the most expensive. With
Yeah.
Harris, it's the purchasing.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's substantially lower for an annual maintenance.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's in contract services.
Yep, it is.
so we have no more other departments pulling out, supplies out of your line item?
That's correct. I take care of the administration department supplies and the building supplies, you know, the cleaning supplies and stuff like that. It wouldn't have been reasonable to have everybody charged a portion for
And the printing and
toilet paper.
copies, is some of that, some of the lease programs we have with the copiers?
No, that'd be under equipment
Contract.
lease.
Yeah.
The line 610 you're talking about, that's the annual town report.
Yeah.
That's the voter's guide. That's pre-printed purchase orders. We have to have those in duplicate, pre-numbered with our address on there.
And the decrease from 14 was because we didn't order so many books this time, correct? Part of that decrease?
Part of it is, yeah.
Yeah. Town reports, we didn't order so many town reports.
Right.
How do we do with that?
Fine, we didn't run out. We haven't run out. So it was a good move.
Yeah,
Yep.
about how many were left over?
I don't know.
I mean, there were boxes before.
Yeah. I think we're right about on target right now, and maybe
Yeah.
in the future, as more people just look at it online, it can be decreased again. I wouldn't feel comfortable decreasing.
No, that's not
this
where I
year.
was going with that, I was just wondering how we made out with it.
Yeah. So good.
Okay, any other administration?
Okay, I'll ask the same question I asked the other department heads. Liz, if you had to cut your budget someplace, where would you do it?
Line 130 doesn't count.
The selectmen's salary.
That's disgusting, by the way.
That is.
Well, Maybe a couple hundred out of line 240. Gosh.
I mean, I know a lot of it is
Maybe,
committed.
yeah, maybe $50 or $100 out of line 890.
I'd rather not.
Hmm?
I don't think I'd take anything out of 890.
Yeah, 8, 9, yeah,
Everything's pretty,
it is, all across the board, it's been very, very tight, and you've all done a great job putting it together. so.
the only amounts that I could even think of would be very small amounts, and maybe just out of the 2 lines and maybe a third line, 860. But, I mean, maybe like $50 or, but it's just,
Under equipment maintenance, how are you to date to that, money-wise? Have you had to,
what's the number?
it's,
740.
740.
She's expended year to date $448 out of 2,000.
How much equipment do we have not covered under a contract? Copiers or
Well, all
computers
the-
or all of?
Well, all of the hardware, all the hardware.
All of
All the hardware. The software, some of the software is covered under the contract, but none of the hardware is. And you're always having like a mouse break or, the keyboard that I have and the mouse that I have in my office are at least 3 years old. They were there when I got there. And so, with time and constant use, they do break down, and the contract wouldn't cover that because the contract doesn't cover hardware. It covers maintenance updates and software installations and repairs and stuff. In fact, he's doing something remotely right now on our system
Okay.
tonight. So it's, if somebody's piece of hardware breaks down, and not just computer hardware either. It could be office equipment, a calculator.
Delaminating tables.
So we're looking at,
That would be under 741.
You have a
Michelle?
question?
Come on.
I just didn't know if that line was for the entire office, or were we supposed to budget for all those individually? Because I think I budgeted mine individually,
Which line are you talking?
maintenance.
Equipment maintenance? Good question. Does that cover Michelle's equipment too, which you budget for?
Well, I always have some in there to cover different departments that don't have enough money. Like this year, I have paid for a couple of things for recreation because she just doesn't have the money in her budget. So I don't have enough probably to cover all the town hall departments, but I do have some for
Right,
some.
Small buffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the goal is to try to get each department to cover their own department.
Yes.
And they're doing very well at that.
All right, so based on what we've talked about so far, we reduced that by $5,700.
Oops. 5,500.
I thought you had $200 for the training.
No,
that.
he was just asking me hypothetically if I could,
Is that hypothetical?
Take
Is
it.
that? I took it as.
because I mentioned 3 different line items.
Right.
I just said not to take it, I would rather not take any money out of, miscellaneous.
Right,
But,
but I thought the training line that you had offered it up, but you're right, I hadn't heard anybody say yes or no.
And by doing that, I will have no training.
well, then you shouldn't, then.
Okay.
I mean, it's down from last year.
Yeah, I took out 2 large seminars out of the training line already.
Yep.
Seminars for me, conferences, expos. I took those out, and I left 1.
Okay. Well then, based on that, we're down $5,500 to a new total of $270,297.
270 what?
$270,297.
Online,
270,297.
610.
What lines are we off now?
We took $3,000 out of legal services, $320.
320?
Yeah, and $2,500 out of $395 professional services.
On line 610, Liz,
Yeah,
I know you know, we do use a lot of copy. I was just looking at,
a lot of what?
we do make a lot of, for our selectmen's meetings. Were we gonna try to do something different, to try to save on paper? Maybe, we're talking about maybe iPads
Well,
and doing away with a lot
Yeah.
of paper usage.
I have mentioned that to our IT person that we have a contract with. And so that is one of those things where line 741 would come into effect that you were asking about, equipment purchase. But I'm yet to
Because we
do it.
use a
I'm
lot
yet
of
to do it.
paper.
I know, and I'm still working on security cameras, and that's gonna come out of equipment purchase also, and that's gonna be a lot more than I thought it was, so. So I'll be talking to him more about those 2 things, because he's also helping me on that.
I mean, I have my own iPad. I don't know if that would help the cost by me using my own, but, I'm just trying to figure out, because we do use a lot of paper on our meetings.
Yeah, municipalities tend to.
Yeah, no, I understand. I was
Yeah,
just
but
trying to save
on the
money.
610, of the 7381, 48, 41 is the town report and voters guide.
Yeah, that's
So-
not really where the iPads would come out.
No,
of
I'm just
them.
saying, he's talking about the printing
Right.
copies of the money that would come out of it, so there's a lot of money comes out of
And
town
actually,
report.
the cost for the photocopier comes out of a different line. Three different lines are used for photocopying: the lease, the maintenance contract, and the paper itself, the supplies.
Okay.
And it's not that line 610.
Okay.
Well, that about wraps it up. We would have to have another meeting to go, do this, to actually vote to approve or not approve on the BOS level.
Oh, I thought these were approvals tonight.
There was no vote or motion made to approve or not approve.
Oh.
Because we actually didn't come up with if you could come up with a final, on the budgets, we decided, we chose to cut, if you can come up with
That and some of them, we'll get 2 of them we have to revisit. too,
yeah,
right?
we get, at least 2 of them we gotta revisit.
And I won't be able to give you a grand total until later this fall because of the insurances budget.
No, I understand that, I'm just saying the departments we talked about tonight,
Mhm.
you've been keeping notes of what we've taken out, and,
I can give you a Muni-Smart sheet update. In fact, that's what our part-time
Yeah.
person is gonna be working on tomorrow.
yeah, if you give us an update on, like I said, what each one is, then we can vote to approve or not approve.
And when did you wanna do that? Time is of the essence.
Yeah, I know it is. We got a selectmen's meeting Monday.
We do.
What's our agenda look like? I mean, it won't take long to vote to approve, and we're not gonna go through it.
I can add them in. I'll
Yeah.
add them in.
Let's do that, let's do it at a regular next
There's-
meeting.
Some items on the agenda, but,
Yeah, I don't think it would take a great deal of time to approve, or this will give us all a chance to take another look at it. And
and let's see. You want the treasurer present. And
You have the actuals, Tom, right? You printed them all today?
Yes. Actual expenditures.
and the recreation director present. I think those are the only
Well,
two.
that was
Yeah.
in today's email. Those emailed to me today.
Yeah, I came straight from,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, that's the date, 9/25, is probably the last day it was run, but it was
Right.
emailed today.
you email one of these to me too?
I did, yep,
Okay.
Yep.
yep, this morning.
Great, thank you.
Okay. That's about it for the budget tonight, as far as I can see. We had talked about meeting with Tammy, what, can I
Webb.
forget? Huh?
Tammy Webb,
Tammy Webb,
yep,
about the 2014 audit,
yep.
and we just wanna see what dates we want to do that, or do we still want to meet with her? I mean, I think it'd be helpful.
Sure.
So what dates are we looking at? She's gonna take probably roughly
What's
an hour.
left?
Yeah,
I
right?
know,
She's probably gonna take about an hour.
I'm guessing.
So,
Because the last
Would you
time
make it for the next Board of Selectmen meeting?
I don't
An
think
hour?
there's gonna be enough room on that.
No, it's an hour, no.
Mondays. I think you're better off to have a
Special meeting, yeah.
special.
We have to work with her availability too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're gonna get picked,
Get some dates from her.
okay,
yeah,
all right,
and you can let us know Monday night what days she's available,
okay.
and we'll just,
I don't know what dates. We're not available.
we'll make something work.
Yeah,
Anything else?
yes,
Yes?
motion,
Oh,
Thank you.
if you wanna wait until Monday night to do that, after you've approved the budgets, that would be fine too.
That would be, I think, appropriate.
That was
Okay.
my intention
I'll leave it
tonight.
inside here, okay?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna approve tonight, that's why I gave that to you.
can I have my copy back?
This is your copy?
That's my copy. If you look on the back page of the thing you just had, your copy's there,
Back page of
of
this?
the stack.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Public comments?
I think you did a good job.
Thank you, John. It's not an easy job.
Oh, I forgot my name, John Gallo.
Oh, yeah. It's not an easy job, that's for sure. None of us like doing it, it's really,
Looks like the end result's the same as it's been for the last 10 years.
what's that?
It looks like the results are about the same as it has been for the last 10 years, pretty close, pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
I don't think there's gonna be very much to do.
it's,
That's good.
They've already done it,
so.
from what I can see. Well, what I could see.
All right.
anyway.
How about a motion to adjourn, guys?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.
What is? Could I see it for 1 minute?
Sure, yep. Are you gonna shut that, oh, do you want the, instructions?
You have a nice night,
Did I?
young lady.
No, I'm missing my animal control officer. That's who I worked with to do my rabies and stuff, so.
I worked with him down at Tyco for a long time. I worked